Okay, so in my following slides, I'll share a bit more on what actions we can take or some suggestions for you, some quick takes for you to consider doing to mitigate around these changes. Okay, so by our solutions team, they are working very hard to do a deeper analysis on how they can incorporate or adapt all these changes into our proprietary retirement planning to retire well. Okay, so with that, let me just go into the quick takes that we can use in the short term, right? Okay, so number one, what we can do is we can consider topping up to enhanced retirement sum, which is 4 times of basic retirement sum. Okay, so this is something that if you don't want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can actually top up your retirement account to the 4-time enhanced retirement sum. And okay, so in the past, when the enhanced retirement sum was at about 3 times of basic retirement sum, the income was about $2,000 over dollars. So some people might find that that amount might not be sufficient. But now, the CPF Life is, if you're contributing to the enhanced retirement sum, you are getting a higher safe income withdrawal amount. And for those with sufficient resources to basically set aside into your retirement account and still have liquidity for your retirement, this is something you can consider, especially if you want a higher safe income floor. To put things into context, okay, so enhanced retirement sum of $426,000 in 2025 will translate to, again, $3,003 monthly income. So for a couple that both enhance their retirement account to the 4-time BRS amount, they will be receiving a combined monthly income of about $6,000 from CPF. Actually, for most people, this $6,000 will go a long way in taking care of their essential expenses. Okay, so for those people that prefer not to top up their ERS, or they have topped up their ERS and they have money left over in their ordinary and special account, how do we deal with this money? Okay, so there are generally 3 ways that people activate or use their money in their ordinary and special account after 55 years old. So we realize that because of the change, people are more sensitive. They're trying to look for alternative instruments that can give them that 4% interest that special account would have given. So our recommendation or our advice would be first take a step back and think about, okay, so if let's say this announcement was not made, what would you have done with the money that was left inside your special and ordinary account? Okay, so there are 3 ways that people generally utilize their special and ordinary account. Okay, so number 1 is that they will want to withdraw immediately from their CPF accounts for their retirement expenses. Okay, so assuming a person has 200K in his CPF special account. Okay, so this is before announcement. Okay, so the CPF special account is giving that 4%. He wants to withdraw immediately from this special account to pay for his retirement expenses. And he has worked out, okay, I need about $3,000 a month and 3% inflation adjusted. Okay, so he'll be able to draw out $3,000 a month with 3% inflation adjustment every month. Okay, keep drawing every month for a total duration of about 5.7 years. This is if the announcement was not made and he had stayed on the special account. Okay, so so we know that the announcement is inevitable. So next year, whatever for members above 55 years old, that special account money will actually be closed and moved over to the ordinary account. Okay, so for ordinary account, okay, so it's at a lower 2.5% interest rate. Okay, so and how does that translate to in terms of a payout or for retirement expenses? So making the same assumptions of $3,000 monthly income, again 3% inflation adjustment. This 200K in OA will be able to give that $3,000 monthly income every month until for a total duration of about 5.5 years. Actually not much different from special account, just a difference of about 3 months. Okay, so then what can we do about this? Okay, so number 1, okay, we can accept that we will have to receive a shorter payout duration by about 3 months. Okay, so instead of 5.7 years, we are receiving payout for only 5.5 years. So number 2, or let's say for some reason you just want that 5.7 years of duration for drawdown, you can also make adjustment in the sense that you accept a lower monthly payout by about $100. So instead of receiving a $3,000 monthly income, you're receiving about $2,009 a month. Okay, so for people with resources, actually, it shouldn't be too much of a problem to try to meet this 3 months or $100 shortfall. Okay, so but for people that kind of have a very clear idea, okay, so there's a 5 years time duration that I want to draw down from my CPF, they can also consider this concept called the bucketing concept. Okay, so what is the bucketing concept? Okay, so we can basically spread out, okay, so there's 5 years from 55 years old until 60 years old, I will need a certain income every year or every month. Then we worked out, okay, so for the first 2 years from 55 to 56 years old, we worked out, okay, so the amount that we need, we set aside that in our CPF OA, because CPF OA gives us that immediate liquidity. We can take out the money at any point of time, but while it's still inside, it can earn that 2.5%. So we set aside, for our first 2 years of income that we need, we set aside into our CPF OA. Okay, so from the third year to the fourth year, whereby we need the money, okay, because we have, in between from here to here, there's a total period of about 2 years that we have. So during these 2 years, what we can do is we can take the money and put it into, for example, an endowment policy. So we know that recently there have been endowment policies that have been giving guaranteed returns, guaranteed capital at about 3%. Okay, so that can take care of the third and fourth year of the 5 years period. Okay, and subsequently, okay, so because there's 4 years in between, so there's 4 years in between. Okay, so we can actually put that money into an investment grade bond to give us more than 3% of return. So the whole idea of this is basically just to layer your into different instruments so you get slightly better returns than 2.5%. Okay, so next, for people that don't need the money at 55 years old, maybe they only want to retire at 65 and they only need the money at 65. Okay, so they can consider investing this money for money that they don't need in the next 10 years. So what they can do is they can invest into a globally diversified portfolio of equities and bonds. So example, if you invest into a 60% equity, 40% bonds, that will give you a return of, you're expecting a return of about 5%, but you will need a time period of about 8 years. Okay, which is fine, because from 55 to 65 years old, you have a 10-year time horizon. Okay, so higher risk, but that is managed by your time horizon. And lastly, okay, so for people, they don't even need their money at 65 years old. They're really just leaving money in their SA OA after 55 as a reserve, as an emergency fund. So they can work out, okay, so what is the amount that I need immediate liquidity for? And I can continue to leave that money inside that 2.5%, sorry, in that ordinary account to give us that 2.5% interest. And this is immediate liquidity, okay? And this will be helpful for us to meet our short-term emergency needs. So for monies that we do not need the immediate liquidity, what we can do is we can consider investing them into other instruments. So example, an 80% bond portfolio with 20% allocation to equity will be able to give about 3 to 4% return if you have a time horizon of about 3 to 4 years. Okay? So let me just very quickly conclude and we can go into Q&A. So when we think about CPF as an accumulation tool, nothing much has changed. Okay, so despite the changes, CPF is still a good instrument that we can use for accumulating. Okay, using CPF as a withdrawal tool. Okay, so we have shared more details about the different plans, for example, the basic plan, the standard plan, and the escalating plan. We have also shared about the enhanced retirement sum. So now you have better understanding of these different features. You can, and you understand yourself better, so you will be able to choose a plan that suits your needs the most. Okay? So even though some people might be unhappy with the CPF changes, we have shared a bit more on how we can navigate around these changes. So firstly, by going back behind to the intent of what we're going to use the SAOA money if the announcement was not going to be made, and we can considering topping up our retirement account to a 4-time enhanced retirement sum if that is something that we want. Okay? So I hope this has been helpful for you.